Welcome, Lucci. Welcome, Leo. Today, we're going to talk about levels and particularly coaching people through levels. So if you aren't aware of what levels are, check out our levels introduction video. That's on the YouTube channel. But we're going to assume that you understand what levels are. So the question is, as a coach, as someone who's working with someone else, should you primarily be trying to move people through levels? So should you advance them up the spiral to a new level? But with that, I'm going to probably hand over to Lucci, if that's all right.
I think that there's something inner of the human being, which is like to evolve. The world has evolved, humanity has evolved. So from my perspective is that if you identify that a person may be operating from an orange level, or maybe his or her mental model may be from that kind, I think that there is an opportunity to gain consciousness about that, and that by applying different techniques, or no, I don't know if techniques, tools, and through practice, I believe that that person can move from one level to the other. I think that would allow a human person to just think, okay, what's my next level? How can I improve? How can I be better at what I'm doing? Many of our leaders, with the ones that we've worked, are very successful. And if they do not stop, like, okay, let's stop. I'm going to think about how I made it up to here. They may say, okay, no, well, I don't want to discuss how, I don't know, I'm successful. Look, I'm here. I'm like the CEO. Okay, but let's think a little bit more. And when they discover maybe how they reach up to there, they will find out that maybe they could have done things different. And by doing that exercise, I think that is part of moving from one level to the other. So maybe a leader that may be operating from an orange perspective may gain consciousness to say, okay, next time, or I'm going to practice to try to be more, I don't know, to think about the rest of the group, to think about, okay, let's not make this decision because that would go against our culture, against our community. I think that is possible to do with a lot of practice.
So let me ask a question before we hand over to Leo. As a consultant or a coach in that scenario, Lucci, what's your responsibility? Is your responsibility primarily to move them, or is it just to kind of open the door and say, you might want to step this way? Like, how active are you in that evolution of the person?
Yes, we do. We run like a diagnostic on the different levels, lines of development within each level. And once they see that from the 4-quadrant perspective, what we work together is, okay, these are your lines that are lower, the lowest one. Which one of those would you like to work? Which ones do you think will allow you to make you move to our next level? And awesome. We actively work with the leader or the person.
Okay, cool. And Leo, you're being very respectful. What's your take on this?
I don't fundamentally disagree with Lucci, and maybe she's a better coach than I am, or maybe the way that she does it is more of a, we have different focuses, right? So Integralis is very focused on a person's internal world and that kind of a team cohesion thing, and that's their bread and butter. And obviously where I'm engaged tends to be a little bit more corporate and more agile. So it could very much just be, the scenarios in which we're coaching. So the other thing that sticks out at me is the experts who developed this model says it takes about 3 to 5 years to move someone to move from one level to the next if they're very motivated to do so. And the reason for that is that these values that a person embodies are invisible to them. They don't know they're doing the thing, and then it needs to be pointed out to them. And if, so Lucci, your example, when someone's an orange and you're saying, oh, well, you've done this orange thing, which is, the pitfall. So the strength of orange is you're going to do great. Your achievement is going to be good. And you're going to, be successful if you're applied in the right direction. And then the pitfall is you're probably not noticing the harm that you're causing along the way, right? The green's response to orange was to bring sustainability and responsibility into orange achievement, but the two are often at odds. So the objective feels to me like, well, you don't want to throw out the success element of it. So you're almost trying to pull them from orange straight into teal. And that's where I get a little bit lost.
No, we don't do a bypass. Like it includes and transcends. And what we try to work on is on the lines of intelligence or lines of development. So maybe we are not moving exactly from orange to green, but at least one of your lines, yes, like, I don't know, maybe your purpose, maybe you realize that, okay, my purpose is not to have more cars or a house. It's something more powerful for me that transcends that. So maybe we can work on that line that for me, it is possible to move. I mean, there's a lot of examples out there of people that have done a journey, right? That they were, I don't know, very successful from the orange point of view. And then they realized that they weren't happy, they weren't satisfied. There's a really, a tipping point, like, I want to do something else. They leave their companies, they do a transfer. For me, I see a transformation on that human being.
Yeah. So maybe then it's almost the difference, Leah, you were talking about kind of whether it's the context which you're in, but maybe it's the scale of the change that we're talking around as well, right? So when we approach this, we're saying to go from A level to a level where we know that a person isn't A level and they don't move to A level. And we know there's other facets like lines of intelligence. So I think what Luci is saying is like, if we take one line and we say, let's move one line from one level to another level, is a different kind of journey to holistically moving a person 3 to 5 years between a level and a next level.
Yeah,
is that
I'm all the way on board there, and I love our lines and levels assessment. And I think it's fundamentally, Luci, where we're focused, right? So you guys are very focused on individuals, and you're lucky enough to be working with individuals who are at that cusp. If someone's at that cusp and they want to grow, then they actually need you. They need that coach. It's similar to what we do from an Agile perspective, where if you try to bring agility to a team that doesn't want it, it's a struggle. But if you try to bring agility to a team that's hungry for it, you can make progress. So I focus from a lines and levels perspective. I often focus on culture. And then if you can elevate the culture, then it kind of raises, it's like a rising tide raises all ships. And so I'm looking to create that internal desire, and you're lucky enough to work with people who already have it.
Yes, I think that you're right. Although maybe there are people that weren't looking this, maybe, I don't know, they are part of a company. Okay, the boss are telling them, okay, you have to do this assessment. And suddenly they found out, and it is an aha moment, like, of discovery of, I think it's all about consciousness, of being more conscious about why are you doing what you're doing? How are you doing the things that you are doing? And I think that a lot of people, even if they are not so open at the beginning, when they are able to see that, I think they believe that there's something else out there. No, maybe there's a better way to be.
Thank you, Luci, and thank you, Leo. So I'm going to wrap up. So we've talked about levels and lines. We have a levels video on the channel. We have a lines video, but we will include a link to information about lines. If you have seen someone go on one of these radical journeys, maybe someone has changed around you, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's someone you work with, be interesting to hear your experience of that. What motivated them? How did they become aware of their journey? So please post that in the comments below. But with that, I will bid you all a good day. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Luci. Stay tuned, and we'll speak to you soon.